Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, welcome everyone. Today we are going to be continuing with chapter 16, verses 1 to 3. Okay? So, I think this is going on for a few days now, the last of this particular text. So, I'm just going to try and give you a brief recap and at least also the linkage from the previous chapters to this chapter. Okay, so we can start with that. Om Agyanam Tiradasya Gyananjanam Chakshuramitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Upakadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutamatakamala Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Samadana Raghunandan Hitam Tam Siddhikam Sadhvitam Samadutam Parikana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Samadana Shri Vishikaritam Hey Krishna Gurudas, also known as the Jnana Yoga section of the Gita. The Gita has got three parts: the Karma Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga, and the Jnana Yoga. Or the process of connecting with the Supreme through actions, the process of connecting to the Supreme by devotion, and the process of connecting with the Supreme through knowledge. Okay? So what has been happening? What is the story so far that's been happening in the Gita just before this verse? So in the 13th chapter, in text number 22, Krishna states that all the living entities are situated in the material nature. But then what makes a pure soul to be situated in material nature? What makes a soul situated in material nature? The simple answer is that it has a desire to enjoy the material world, or it has the desire to lord over material nature. And because of this seed desire, it is trapped in the material nature, or it is trapped in material world. Then, in the 15th chapter, Krishna then describes that this entire material world is like an upside down banyan tree. Okay? Now, the tree it cannot come up by itself. Must have been a seed. The seed of that material tree is the desire to enjoy material life. That is the seed. Okay? And then a seed doesn't grow by itself. It needs watering, it needs nourishment. So how does the upside down banyan tree gets its nourishment? It gets its nourishment through what nourishes a tree? What nourishes a tree? Water. So what is that water for this tree? No, it is actually the three modes of material nature. The three modes of material nature is the watering of this plant. Okay? Or this tree. Now, in the 14th chapter, text number 21, Arjuna then asked three questions in one verse. What are the three questions? He asked, what are the characteristics of a person who has transcended the modes? What is the behavior of such a person? And what are the processes to transcend the modes? So from that is when he last spoke. He spoke on 14:21, and since that point, Krishna has just spoken continuously until he will continuously speak till the starting of the 17th chapter. So from 14:21 to 17 chapter 17:1, it's all Krishna speaking right now. So what does Krishna say? Krishna says that the roots of this banyan tree are upwards and the branches are downwards. And where can such a tree exist? This tree, have you ever seen a tree that is got its roots upwards and its branches downwards? Where can you find such a tree? In the mirror? No? In the reflection. Yes. So if you go to the, say a river bank, on a river bank, and on the river bank there is this big tree. The tree will be reflected in the water as upside down, with the roots upwards and the branches downwards. So what does this also mean? This means that this entire material world is nothing but an illusion. It is false. It is not permanent. And if it is false, if there is a reflection, does that mean that there is an object? Yes, that means there is an object. If there is a reflection, surely there is an object to which the reflection is reflecting. So what Krishna is saying in the 15th chapter is that we need to cut ourselves from the entanglement of this illusory tree and go to the actual tree. So basically, he's going to cut yourself from material entanglements and go to the spiritual world, where the actual tree is there. Yeah. So this process of cutting yourself, it's like there was once a dog. A dog went to had a biscuit in his mouth and went to the uh, edge of the water, and he saw there was another dog there with another biscuit. Now, being greedy for getting that other biscuit, it jumped into the water. But did he find that other biscuit? No, it's not there because it's just a reflection. Yeah. So the dog will only get the real biscuit if it comes back up and gets the biscuit that he had in his mouth. Similarly, we souls, we have lost the chance of eternal happiness by desiring to become enjoyers ourselves. We only get our ultimate happiness with being with Krishna. But for some reason, we have since time immemorial basically drowned ourselves in this illusory, illusory world where we are trying to be happy, but happiness keeps on eluding us. So now the link between the 15th and 16th chapter is that Krishna says in the 15th chapter that you have to remove the knots of this entanglement. Now, how do you remove the knots? You have to raise yourself upwards, upwards, upwards till you get to the root of the tree, and then you can get out of it. So, how the process of getting up and going down, that is actually controlled by the three modes. The three modes. By cultivating, like what he says, Devi Sampatti, or the qualities of the demigods, or godly qualities, one can raise themselves up, 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 up towards the surface of the water. Right now we are in the depth of the water. We are right now in the depth. But we want to start surfacing up at least to the level of the water. The actual tree is outside the water. It's outside. It's on the land. But we are trying to not be drowned anymore. We want to get up at least to this level. So to rise up gradually, you need to cultivate godly qualities or Devi Sampatti. Okay? Now, what are these Devi Sampatti? These are basically characteristics or qualities that or behavioral qualities that we have to develop. But some people might say like, okay, how can you develop them? How do qualities come into people? Qualities come into people in three ways. One is by their nature. Every single one of us came into this world with a predispositioned nature. Some people are naturally very angry. Some people are naturally very calm. Some people are naturally very hardworking. Some people are naturally very lazy. So not everyone is equal. And this is because everyone is carrying the nature that they've created from their past lives. Whatever actions and activities that they've performed in the last life is what impressions are created in their minds, is what the nature of that person is. So nature is one. Another thing that influences a person's behaviors, apart from nature, is the nurture. How a person is grown up, the influences that soul gets when they are growing up, that also affects their behaviors for the rest of their life. It is said that kids are very malleable up to the age of 7 or 8. The whatever impressions that are put in the child between the ages until the age of 7, it will last for the rest of their lifetime. So nurture is one. And then finally, the last one is culture. Culture is a very, very, very important thing. And culture is also you are going to add it to association. We have all seen that kids, they might be very nice and well mannered when they are very young. But as soon as they hit the teenage years, then peer pressure comes, then the association with other people come, other friends, other outside influences, and they spend more time and association with outsiders rather than the family members, and then that has more of a direct factor in shaping the behaviors of that person. Yeah. But apart from nature, nurture, and culture, there's one more thing that can override, and that is the free will of that soul. If the free will decides that despite all negativity around me, I want to rise above myself, above this mess, then that free will can override all these three factors. Okay, so divine nature, by cultivating a divine nature, it makes us progress towards liberation, while demonic nature will entangle us more in material bondage. Okay, so out of these two, what should we aim for? Divine nature. Yes. Okay. Now, Krishna gives a list of 26 such qualities in this text, in text 1 to 3 of the 16th chapter. Now, these qualities are divided by the Varna and by the Ashrama. Okay? Like in general, these are the broad range of qualities that one should have, one should develop, but some might be easier to develop for somebody, and another might be easier to develop for the other person based on their pre-existing behavior. Okay? So, what are the what are the four ashramas or spiritual orders? Brahmacharya? No, that's a varna. So brahmacharya, yes, vanprasth and sannyas. Okay, these are four ashramas. Now, what are the qualities that each of these four varnas especially need to cultivate? So for a sannyasi, the first quality that actually let me start that way. For a brahmacharya, the first quality that a brahmacharya needs to cultivate is Vedic scripture study, or in this case, it is written as Swadhyay. Yes. So Prabhupada writes, then Swadhyay, Vedic study, is meant for brahmacharya. or student life. Brahmacharis should have no connection with women. They should live a life of celibacy and engage the mind in the study of Vedic literature for cultivation of spiritual knowledge. This is called Swadhyay. Okay, so why is this very important? Why do people in the Brahmacharya stage of life need to do scripture study? And there's only one reason. The one reason is so that they are well versed in what is the ultimate goal of life. Yeah, they understand perfectly that this human life is very precious and it is our only opportunity to utilize this lifetime to get out of material bondage completely and get liberated. So when a person in the beginning of his life is engaged in scripture study, he understands very well what the aim of life should be, so that when that person goes further and he then enters grahastha life or married life, he is not entangled by it because he knows exactly what is the actual aim of life. Okay? Then from brahmacharya we get to grihastha. Now in the grihastha there are three qualities. One is known as charity, the other one is self-control, and the third one is sacrifice. So what is charity? Charity just does not mean that you're giving something. Okay? Charity is done so that it cultivates a mentality of giving. Yeah? Charity is not meant to just give something and that's it, end of it. No. Charity is supposed to be a continuous process so that it creates the mentality of giving. And this is really helpful in the next stage, the Vanaprastha stage. Because ultimately, in the Vanaprastha stage, you're detaching yourself from everything and focusing more on Krishna and spiritual development. Yeah, you're detaching yourself, and the Vanaprastha stage, you're attaching yourself towards Krishna. Okay, so charity is a very important role and also quality that one has to develop, so that it increases the level of detachment. Okay. Second is self-control. Now, in all the other three, in brahmacharya, vanprasth, and sannyasa, there is complete abstaining from mixing with the other opposite sex or the parallel sex. It's only in the grahastha ashram where license is given to enjoy homely life or to enjoy uh, relationships with the opposite sex. But for what purpose? The only purpose is so that you can beget good Krishna conscious children, so that you can train them so that that life or that soul gets the right setting for its journey towards Krishna. Okay? And the marriage relationship should evolve from seeing not each other as an object of sense gratification, but as seeing each other as support for your progression towards the spiritual path. Yeah, and this requires a lot of self-control. Thirdly is sacrifice. In the Vedic age, householders were supposed to do very expensive Agni sacrificing. But in the Kali Yuga, this is not very possible because of a lack of pure Brahmanas and a lack of wealth to do this. So, what is the prescribed sacrifice for this age? Yes, Sankirtan Yajna, by chanting the holy names of the Lord. This should be the sacrifice that householders should especially perform. Not everyone has to perform this, but especially householders to remain self-controlled and to and to increase their spirituality and safeguard them when they are in this ashram. Moving forward is the Vanaprastha ashram. In the Vanaprastha ashram, the one quality that you have to especially cultivate is austerity. Austerity of what? The body, the mind, and the tongue. Because once you get to the Vanapra stage, you have lived a lot of your life in the householder life already, a lot of time. So there's already a lot of comforts. But now is the time to start detaching yourself and trying to get more and more attached to Krishna. And that can only happen when you start detaching yourself from the material world and material duties. And Vana means forest, and Prashta means to go. So Vana Prash means that when people leave their home and go towards the forest. But now in Kali, what's happened? Because what used to happen is the sannyasis used to live in the forest. So Vanaprash, the people in the Vanaprash would go leave their homes and go to the forest because that's where the sannyasis would be, and that's where they would get training, further training into how to focus entirely on Krishna and on spiritual perfection. But nowadays, we have all the Brahmins and all the sannyasis living in temples. So, what should Vanaprastha people do? They should seek out and live in holy places where the sannyasis are, where they can get more and more uh, opportunity to mingle with spiritually advanced people, okay, and live home alone. Yeah. And lastly is the sannyasi. Now the sannyasi has got three major qualities. The first one is fearlessness. So now what does this mean? This means a sannyasi is one who is not at all depending on home now. He is completely left home and he is now completely dependent on the mercy of Krishna. If one person has a doubt that where is my next meal coming from, where am I going to go next, where am I going to sleep next? If one has got such reservations, one should not take the sannyas. Because the sannyas means he has got complete firm faith. He is fearless. It doesn't matter where I am going to go. I know Krishna is going to protect me. That level of conviction is needed for a sannyasi. Second is purity. That person, a sannyasi, has purified his existence by performing his prescribed duties in every stage. That now his entire inner being, his external actions as well as internal desires are completely spiritual. And they've got not even the slightest tinge of material in them. And finally, knowledge. They must be very knowledgeable. Sannyasis are supposed to understand, apply, and teach other people according to time, place, and circumstance the essential truths of the scriptures. Yeah, if they cannot do this, then they are told to study further because the sannyasi is perfect in applying the principles of the scriptures. Okay, so the reason for this spiritual order or the four ashramas is that a person gradually increases the spiritual commitments throughout life and his involvement in spiritual activities. And there was an Iskcon leader. His name was His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj. In his final message, he said that devotion is dynamic. What you do now is not going to be enough when you go forward in your spiritual journey. Like just sticking to 16 rounds or just sticking to, again, of course, following the four principles, but just sticking to just 16 rounds is not going to get you anywhere as you go higher and higher in your spiritual journey. Because then you will need to do more and more and more and more because that's how bhakti is. Bhakti is not stagnant, it keeps on increasing. So, a person has to keep on increasing their spiritual activities such that 24/7, 365 days a year, they are completely absorbed in spiritual activities. And when you get to that stage, then when the final exam of death comes, you're fully prepared. and your life becomes successful. That is the order or spiritual order that Krishna has delineated in the scriptures. Now, so these are the four ashramas. What about the four varnas? What are the four varnas? Yeah, Vaishya and Shudra. Okay, now, even in these four varnas, there are particular qualities that each of the varnas or people in the varna need to cultivate. In the Brahmana stage, the ones that you should qualities that you should one should cultivate is that of ahimsa and satya. What does that mean? Ahimsa means non-violence, and satya means truthfulness. So satya means that a brahmana should only speak the truth. But what truth? He should speak about the absolute truth. He has to speak and preach the glories of Krishna and the knowledge of Krishna. And what else does he need to do? He needs to preach the absolute truth, but not in a way that is for personal gratification or personal interest. If somebody starts preaching for name, fame, and gain, then that is wrong. That is not what Satya means. Satya means that you say things as they are, as Prabhupada has written. This is the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Yeah, without any mental concoction, to say what is the real purport of the text. And ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence. Generally, the Brahmanas are by nature non-violent, but if need be, they can be they can be violent. Okay. How are they normally non-violent? So there is a story in the Vedas that one time when Vishwamitra Muni wanted to take the Surbi cow of Vashishta. Vashishta did not retaliate, and he said, "You can take it if the cow wants to come." But the cow basically did not want to leave the side of Vashishta Muni, and so then it retaliated. The cow retaliated, and finally there was a Vishwamitra Muni basically gave up and could not execute his plan of taking away the Survey cow. But Vashishta Muni did not basically fight back. So he was not violent. But at the same time, Brahmanas can be violent if they see that the Kshatriya kings are not following the rules and regulations properly. Like in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Brahmins cursed and killed King Vena because he was a number one atheistic king and was not performing his duties properly. So Brahmanas can also be violent if need be, but generally they are not violent. Okay. Now Kshatriyas need to have the quality of tejaha, of valor, and they need this because they need to protect the needy and to guide the society towards the spiritual goal of life. Next is the Vaishyas. Vaishyas need to be socham or cleanly or clean. Clean in what sense? Externally as well as internally in their dealings. They have to be very clean. They should not engage in work which is abominable. Shudras, the quality is nati manita, meaning freedom from honor. So Shudras need to understand that their role is to provide support for the three upper classes. And how can we get free from honor? Yeah, what is the way to get free from honor? We get free from honor by developing humility. As I say, humility is the enzyme that helps to digest praise and honor. And how else can we develop that humility? By understanding that actually we are not worthy. We are just, if somebody praises us, we just take it that, oh, I'm just a tool in Krishna's hands. So whatever praise that I'm getting is basically all Krishna's glory. I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I'm not doing anything. That's how one should handle praise and honor. And then these are specific for the Varna and Ashram, but then there are so many others which are common for everyone, and the rest of the list are to do with that. So another like the ones which are common now for everyone is simplicity, meaning to be straightforward. Then there needs to be akrodhas, meaning freedom from anger. What does that mean? It means that even if there is a provocation, one should be tolerant. For once one becomes angry, his whole body becomes polluted. Yeah? Now, how to get free from anger? The best way to get free from anger is by having a higher purpose in life. Then, whatever provocations come to you, you realize that no, this is just wasting my time. I should just let this go away and start focusing on what is actually important for me. Okay? So, Srila Prabhupada, he writes in the Krishna book that one's greatness has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. When there is reason to be angry, but one stays calm, then that is calmness, and that is akrodha. A very nice example of this. I recently seen a YouTube video of one unfortunate person criticizing and shouting at His Holiness Radhanath Swami. Radhanath Swami was completely calm. He did not say a single word, and he just basically stayed there and just let all that anger and criticism just roll off him, just like that. That is how you see how a soul is very great. Yeah. Now, Tyaga means renunciation. But again, the whole of the beginning of the Gita is about what is real renunciation. Real renunciation is giving up the mentality of chasing the results of our actions. But and true renunciation is using everything, seeing everything as special property, and then using everything as special property. So a real sannyasi can act, or a real renunciate can act in this world, and into the world he will look like a bhogi, but actually he is a yogi. He is a topmost yogi because he is perfect in his renunciation. Next is Shantir, means tranquility, means again unagitated, peaceful, and equipoise. And the next one is Apaishunam, meaning freedom from fault finding. This is a very big one. This is something that we really need to focus on because we are very good at finding faults with others. We are very good at that. But we need to get free from that. Why? Now, in one of the books, I can't remember who written it, where it says one of the characteristics of advanced devotees means that they don't have the inclination to criticize anyone because a devotee sees everyone's spiritual potential and wants everyone's spiritual potential to be developed. Yeah? And this is very true because uh, Prabhupada, when he was initially growing the Iskcon movement, he had to deal with so many young hippies who were making a lot of mistakes, making a lot of, yeah, basically not following orders or not being able to rise to the standard required. But Prabhupada ji never fault finded them. He never criticized them or made them feel as if he's putting them down. Yeah, he was free from this fault-finding attitude. Actually, if you look at the life of Prabhupada, all these 26 qualities are in him. And I think there is also a book, or I think an Instagram post I saw of how Prabhupada exhibited all these 26 qualities in his Leela that he did on this earth. So that's very important. Like Keshav Swami says that small minds discuss events, average minds discuss people, but great minds discuss wisdom. Okay. Now, then this Daya Bhujisha, meaning mercy or compassion, and this is towards all living entities. And further, we have a few more, which is Mardava, means gentleness. Again, this is towards all living entities. He is modest, then he has got steady determination, and he is not agitated in failure. If just we read Prabhupada's Lila Mitra, we will be able to see how Prabhupada personifies all these 26 qualities perfectly. When he wanted to start fulfilling the orders of his spiritual master, before he started the Iskcon movement, when he was in India, before when he left for the US, he started an organization known as League of Devotees, and the League of Devotees it worked for some time, but then it all crumbled away. And Prabhupada was not agitated by failure. When he was a Grahasta, Prabhupada had a successful pharmacy. He was running a successful pharmacy. And his thinking was that I want to expand my business more and more. I want to expand my business more and more. What was the reason? So that I earn more money, so that I can give more money to my Guru Dev for his efforts to preach Krishna consciousness. But by Krishna's will, whatever business undertaking that Prabhupada tried to do, it all failed. It kept on failing. But through all these failures, Prabhupada never complained. He said, "No, Krishna might have a plan for this. He has a plan for this." Yeah. And when he started the League of Devotees and it failed, he did not feel frustrated or agitated. He thought that this is also a plan of Krishna, and that is why at the end when he incorporated Iskcon, he says that all my failures in life were lessons for me to learn so that I can make Iskcon a success. Yeah, he learned from all the failures so that he could incorporate Iskcon, which is still existing today, over more than 50 years since it started. Yeah. Then we have the last three, which is Shama, forgiveness, Dhriti means courage, and Adroho means freedom from envy. How do we get freedom from envy? Well, we understand that what are we getting envious about? We are getting envious at other people's material prosperity. But does material things give us happiness? No, it doesn't give us happiness. You know it's not going to give us happiness. Because material things have got the three qualities. What are the three qualities? It is unpalatable, it's unattainable, unpalatable, and unretainable. So ultimately, why are you getting envious of that person? Because that whatever that material qualities and material possessions that person has is ultimately not going to give happiness. So the basis of enviness basically melts away. So that's how you get free from envy. Because then you realize that why am I getting envious? For what am I getting envious? Yeah. So the last point I want to make here is that this entire world is like a hospital. Now, in the hospital, you have many different types of patients. Now, if you are a patient in the hospital and you see that in the room next to yours, there's a person who has just undergone a heart operation, and you have gone a knee operation, and then you tell the doctor, why is my medicine different from the person who has got a heart operation? Does that make sense? No, everyone has got different diseases, yeah, or different diseases. So they need different medicine to get them recovered. So some people by nature have a different nature to another person. So these 26 qualities, a person needs to develop them in different ways which are better for them for their faster growth in their spiritual journey. So these 26 are general, they need to be developed. But if you're in a particular varna or a particular ashram, there are certain qualities that really need to be developed. So this is like that. Yeah. So these 26 qualities are very important because they enable us to climb out of the upside down banyan tree, and while the other demonic qualities push you towards more and more material bondages. And that will be covered now from text number 4 to text number 9. What are these demonic qualities? That we will see in our next class. Okay. Any questions? Yes.
A request for you to do the next one.
If possible.
If possible.
If possible. If possible. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ji ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gita ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam.
અમારા એક સેશનમાં પરિવર્તન નહીં because broken into such a way